Welcome back to the channel, folks. In today's, the next episode in our Starlink series, I've uncovered an issue that I've had with the Starlink. I've talked to Starlink about it. They recognize that it's an issue. So far they haven't come up with a fix. So let me show you what this is all about and why you might be troubled by it. There is a small workaround, but let's get into it and I'll show you what I'm talking about. What I have found is a potential issue with local channels. If you want to watch live TV with Starlink, the way it goes to the satellite and back to various hubs, and I'll pull it up on a map with the satellites and the main network hubs that they use a little later in the video, but it basically thinks that I'm in Los Angeles, but I'm actually in Phoenix. What the problem is that when I go to watch live TV on an app, so let's use the Fox Now app here. A couple weeks ago, I'm trying to watch, maybe it's been a month or two now, but I'm trying to watch the Cardinals game. Cardinals game was not televised in Los Angeles, it was televised in Phoenix. So I wanted to watch this on Fox 10. As you can see here, it thinks my local channel is Fox 11, Los Angeles. I'm not in Los Angeles. So when I'm trying to watch the football game, it wouldn't work because it thought I was in Los Angeles. So I couldn't get Fox 10. I happen to still have my old internet service. So let me log out of Starlink and I'll log into my old internet service. Now I'm connected to my old internet service provider. So now if I go back into Fox Now and I look at my live channels, now you can see that I'm in Fox 10 Phoenix. That is a problem with Starlink that they don't yet have a fix for. When I notified them about that, they were quick to respond and they actually gave me a free month of service for my trouble because I wasn't able to watch the football game. But they haven't fixed it yet, or at least haven't notified me fixing it yet, and clearly, as I'm videoing this, it still has the issue. So it doesn't have any way for me to tell it that I'm in Phoenix. So the workaround, let me switch back to my Starlink. So one workaround is VPN. VPN can basically you can tell it wherever you want to be. And this does work, sort of. So you can see up there in the corner, it still says I'm in Los Angeles. So I can change it to a city. Problem is, last time I tried this, when I selected Phoenix, it still wouldn't say I was in Phoenix for some reason. So let me connect. Okay, so top left, it says I'm in Phoenix. Now if I go back, go back to Fox. See, Phoenix doesn't work. Now it thinks I'm in Fox 5 New York. But now let's go back and change it to another city. Let's try, how about Dallas? Okay, says I'm in Dallas. Now it says Fox 4 KDFW. I mean, that's Dallas Fort Worth. But for some reason, Phoenix doesn't work. But that is the workaround. If you're having that issue, you can tell it where you are with the VPN. Unfortunately, for Phoenix, for some reason IPVanish doesn't like that. Well, so there's my issue. So apparently Starlink is going to require you to use a VPN for your local channels. So I don't know if this is going to be a problem for every app that uses local channels, but certainly was an issue there. If they only televise like a football game in a certain area and it thinks you're somewhere else, you won't be able to watch it unless you can use a VPN to get it where you want it. Let me get on the computer and I'll show you a satellite map and how kind of explains what's going on with this. So here's a cool website. It's called Starlink.sx. If you're on Starlink, this map shows you all the Starlink satellites, shows you their main hubs or networks. Let me zoom into my area here. So you set your own area. I've got mine set up so it knows where I'm at. This green dot is me. All these blue dots floating around are the actual satellites, and you can mouse over them and it'll tell you the satellite information. The solid green line is the one you're currently connected to, and that constantly updates when there's one closer or one that makes more sense to talk to. The yellow dots are the ground station that satellite is currently talking to. So here I am in the Phoenix area, Santan Valley. I'm talking to this satellite. Now that satellite just switched to this Panica, Nevada. You watch shortly, so now I just jumped over to this one. Now I'm talking to Starlink 3155, and now it's talking to Roll, Arizona again. Once it hits that ground station, then it goes to the main POP, and you can see the green one here is the one I'm currently connected to. So that's why it thinks I'm in Los Angeles. So I don't have a POP in the Phoenix area for me to use. That is the closest one. So there's one in San Jose, one up in Denver, one in Dallas, Atlanta. So you can see they're spread out pretty good. I watched another YouTuber that I found this website from. His issue, he was over on the East Coast. He was down in Florida somewhere, and it had him connected to this Ashburn POP, I think, and he was getting some pretty high latency, and his speed wasn't as good. He was able to get them to change him to the Miami POP, and he got much better speeds. Unfortunately, this is the closest one for me, so I won't be able to change that, but it's still going to think I'm in Los Angeles unless you use a VPN or something to tell it differently. That also explains why when you go to do a speed test, it defaults to an optimal server in Los Angeles. I had a few comments on one of my earlier Starlink videos. I need to change the server, but that's the main POP where my connection goes through, so that's why it thinks I'm in Los Angeles. Now I can change it to a closer one, but I don't know that necessarily speeds me up at all, because it's, I've seen it up and down all over the place no matter where I put it. Some seem to be faster, but I don't know that that's as much a geographic location or just less traffic on their servers or something. Because it's going to go, if I set it to one in Phoenix, that information is going to come from me. It's going to go up to the satellite. Right now it's connected to a ground station in Los Angeles. That's then connected to Los Angeles POP, and then that would have to then ping back to Phoenix. So there's a lot of hops in there, even if you set that speed test to a server in your town. It's not necessarily going directly to that town. You're going up to space, to the ground station, and then to the POP, wherever yours is for Starlink. Mine happens to be in Los Angeles. So anyway, this is a pretty cool website if you are interested in that. You can see a lot of information. The blue rings out here are the range of any given satellite. So there's a lot of cool data you can get from this. There's the main issue that I've found so far. only time it's been an issue is when I was trying to watch that football game. But other than that, it hasn't really been a big deal. But for some of you, that might be a big problem if you're always trying to watch a game. But try the VPN. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Take care. Talk to you again soon.